you hear us now?
Okay, good morning. What about now? Can y'all hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Sorry about that. We're having some kind of last minute unanticipated technological issues. I know that no one else has suffered those in the past few months, but anyway, good to see you guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your patience. Let's go ahead and get started. First of all, have you guys heard from anyone related to this property, 3610 32nd Street?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not.
Okay. All right. Very good. Then it's 8:39 right now. Let's give any owner, interested party, we'll give them about 1 more minute, and then we'll go ahead and get started.
Your Honor, did you get the electronic version of the exhibits?
I did. Yes, thank you for sending those that way. All right, let's go ahead and get started. If you guys are ready to get started, we'll go ahead and go on the record.
Yes, Your Honor, we're ready.
Okay. All right, very good. Then let me hit record. All right, good morning, everyone. We are here on cause number 4271-2021, City of Lubbock, plaintiff versus 3610 32nd Street as the defendant. And it appears as though the city attorney's office is here. Could you please introduce yourself, and then we'll find out if anyone else is here for the property.
Yes, I'm Amy Sims with the City of Lubbock City Attorney's Office.
Okay, all right. Thank you for being here, Ms. Sims. And it is 8:42. This hearing was to have started at 8:30 this morning. And as far as the court is aware, there is no one here who is an interested party in this property, 3610 32nd Street. So we will go ahead and proceed without any owner, interested party, mortgagee being in attendance. So Ms. Sims, do you have any opening remarks, or would you like to call your first witness?
The city would like to call its first witness.
Okay, all right, very good. Who's that?
The city's calling Stuart Walker.
Okay, and Mr. Walker, if you could please raise your right hand to get sworn in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, very good. Ms. Sims, you may proceed.
Okay, can you state your name?
My name is Stuart Walker.
And what is your job title?
I'm the Code Administration Director for the City of Lubbock.
And generally, what are your duties?
I oversee and direct the department in the areas of zoning enforcement, weed and rubbish abatement, junk vehicle abatement, and property maintenance.
And as part of your duties, are you the structural standards administrator, who's defined as the official who is charged with the administration and enforcement of the property maintenance code of the city of Lubbock?
I am.
And as a structural standards administrator, are you the custodian of records for the code enforcement department?
I am.
You have access to the databases and records of the code enforcement department.
I do.
Do you help maintain these records?
I do.
Are they kept in the ordinary course of business?
They are.
Your Honor, I am handing the witness documents marked Exhibit A. Now, do you recognize these documents?
Yes, ma'am. This is a copy of the case file for 3610 32nd Street.
And are they kept by the city's code enforcement department as part of enforcing the property maintenance code?
Yes, ma'am, they are.
Are they kept in the ordinary course of business?
They are.
Is in the regular course of business of the city's code enforcement department for employees of the department with knowledge of the active condition, opinion, or diagnosis recorded to make that record,
Yes, ma'am.
or transmit information about it to be included in the record?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the record made at or near the time of the active condition, opinion, or diagnosis, or reasonably soon thereafter?
Yes, ma'am.
Are these originals or exact duplicates of the originals?
They are.
Your Honor, the city offers Exhibit A.
All right, Exhibit A shall be admitted into evidence, and you may proceed.
Now, as a part of the duties of the structural standards administrator, are you responsible for providing notice of today's hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a diligent search for each owner, mortgagee, and lien holder of the structure located at 3610 32nd Street, Lubbock, Texas conducted?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a review of the real property records and assumed name records of Lubbock County conducted?
Yes, ma'am.
Lubbock Central Appraisal District records?
Yes, ma'am.
Records of the Secretary of State for the state of Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
Utility records, tax records, and any other applicable records of the city of Lubbock?
Yes, ma'am.
Was each owner, mortgagee, or lien holder identified, given at least 10 days advance notice of this public hearing by personal service or certified mail return receipt requested when you were able to identify an address for each?
Yes, ma'am, they were.
And did you have a notice of this public hearing filed with the real property records of Lubbock County?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Did you have a notice posted on the front door of the structure and published once in a newspaper, general circulation in the city?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, the city has no further questions.
Okay, all right, thank you, Mr. Walker. And Ms. Sims, you may call your next witness.
The city calls Coy Humphreys.
All right, Mr. Humphreys, if you could please raise your right hand to get sworn in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this case shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, very good. Ms. Sims, you may proceed.
Can you state your name?
Coy Humphreys,
And what is your job title?
Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Lubbock.
And how long have you held that position?
Almost 10 years.
Generally, what are your duties?
I inspect properties throughout the city for violations of the Property Maintenance Code.
And are you a registered code enforcement officer?
Yes, I am.
Is this an official registration recognized by the state of Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you have to pass a test in order to obtain that certification?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about the training for the position you hold.
Initially, a week-long training course, followed by a test with ongoing training throughout my career.
And does that training include learning the city code, the city's property maintenance code, and any state laws as it pertains to code enforcement and property maintenance?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you have experience in evaluating structures, especially in relation to compliance with property maintenance code?
Yes, ma'am.
And how to apply the specific provisions of the property maintenance code to each individual structure you inspect?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you continually retrained?
Yes, I am.
Do you investigate complaints of substandard structures?
Yes, I do.
Generally, how often?
On a daily basis.
Your Honor, the city offers Mr. Humphreys as an expert witness.
All right, Mr. Humphreys will be considered an expert in this matter. You may proceed.
Now, are you familiar with the structures located at 3610 32nd Street, Lubbock, Texas?
Yes, I am.
And how are you familiar?
I executed a search warrant there on January 27th, 2021.
And what was the overall condition?
The primary structure had been demolished, had an emergency demolition performed due to a fire, and the debris from that demolition remains on the property.
Your Honor, I'm handing the witness city's exhibits marked B through G.
Okay,
Mr. Humphreys, do you recognize these photographs?
Yes, I do.
And what are they?
They are pictures of the property at 3610 32nd Street.
Who took those pictures?
I did,
And when did you take those pictures?
on January 27th.
Do they accurately depict the structures located at 3610 32nd Street, Lubbock, Texas,
Yes, ma'am.
as it appeared on the date of your inspection?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, the city offers exhibits B through G.
exhibits B through G shall be admitted into evidence. You may proceed.
Now, can you point out some of the violations of property maintenance code that are depicted in these pictures?
Yes, ma'am. Exhibit B is an overall view of the property. It shows the demolished structure as well as the storm cellar on the property. Exhibit C again shows in more detail the demolished structure, some of the burned remnants therein. Exhibit D shows an unsecured storm cellar. Exhibit E shows a secondary structure that is partially dismantled. Exhibit F shows another secondary structure that is open and accessible. And Exhibit G shows yet another secondary structure that is open and accessible.
Now, you stated there was a fire on this property, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
When did that occur?
September 3rd of this year, or of last year, excuse me.
And based off of that, that fire, what did the city do?
At the time, the structure was deemed unsafe and we executed a emergency demolition on the primary structure.
Now, what did that emergency demolition entail?
It entailed just bringing the main structure down to the ground as flat as possible.
So y'all just took care of the imminent danger?
Yes, ma'am.
And so there remains the debris of the primary structure, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And how many secondary structures still remain?
There are 3 secondaries and a storm cellar.
And what condition are those secondary structures now?
All of them are dilapidated, open and accessible.
And that storm shelter, is it, what kind of condition is it in?
It is full of trash and debris and it's unsecured.
And would it take substantial repair to bring any of these structures up to code if it was at all possible?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
And what effect does this property have on the neighborhood?
It has an adverse effect on the neighborhood.
In your expert opinion, is the structures located at 3610 32nd Street in Lubbock, Texas, dilapidated, substandard, or unfit for human habitation and a hazard to the public health, safety, and welfare?
Yes, ma'am.
Are the structures located at 3610 32nd Street, Lubbock, Texas, unoccupied by its owners, lessees, or other invitees?
Yes, ma'am.
Are they unsecured from unauthorized entry to the extent that they can be entered or used by vagrants or other uninvited persons as a place of harborage?
Yes, ma'am.
Could they be entered or used by children?
Yes, ma'am.
In your expert opinion, are the structures located at 3610 32nd Street, Lubbock, Texas, do they constitute a nuisance?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, the city has no further questions.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Humphreys. You can call your next witness.
The city rests, Your Honor.
Okay, any closing remarks?
Yes, Your Honor. The evidence and testimony today shows that the property located at 3610 32nd Street is dilapidated, substandard, and unfit for human habitation. It's partially demolished and the remaining structures are open and accessible and pose a danger to that neighborhood. So the city would request a 30-day demolition order.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Sims. The court agrees after having heard the evidence and testimony and considering the pictures and other exhibits as well, and will order a 30-day demolition order. I'm going to sign that and date it today's date, and I will send you a copy as well as anyone else we have on file who might be interested in this property in terms of mortgagee, owner, other interested party. And so that will be the court's order. Anything else from the city?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, all right, very good. Then we are adjourned on this hearing, and I'm going to stop the recording. Okay.